welcome to everybody. I'm very happy that you joined me or us during the weekend, because it's a long weekend. And yeah, the aim of my presentation is first of all to talk about AI, artificial intelligence, but that's very large. That is why I've been focusing since something like 5-6 years now on very special technologies, autonomous technologies. It could be smart homes, and here today I will present you autonomous vehicles, but in the large sense I'm working on autonomous technologies in smart homes, in smart cars, autonomous cars, service robots, chatbots, and how they impact well-being, and how well-being then impact usage, and how user experience also impact usage. So that's overall my research I've been working on since 5 years. But I'm always connecting to my original research with customer relationship management. So I'm doing then the link to CRM in terms of how these AI-based technologies enhance also the related, contribute to value in the customer-related relation. But today I'm not only talking about marketing, because I know you're not all from marketing. So my aim is also to show you the methodological approach by doing the literature research, how we proceeded to find and to narrow the topic. That's the aim of the first part. And then in the second part, I will present you the study, which is actually under revision in the International Journal of Research and Marketing, which is an A journal, about the autonomous vehicle. All right. Yeah, first of all, also in your thesis, you have to start about the general things. What is the market? Is the market promising? So it's always good to start also your research with some practical figures, statistics, and definitions. So first of all, what are we talking about? Yeah, we're talking about autonomous vehicles, which are fulfilled with a bundle of technologies in information and communication, cameras, sensors, which collect data, which analyze data in real time, which monitor the activity, and which control less or more. Fully autonomous level 5, completely control, or level 3, which is the actual level today, partly control the driving. They take decisions, they increase driver comfort and above all security, because actually today 95% of the accidents are caused by humans. So these autonomous vehicles should decrease the driver risk and increase security and increase well-being. A short typology, what are autonomous vehicles? So we go from 0, no automation, to 5, where we have no steering wheel and brakes anymore. Since last year, we are at level 3, where actually the car takes over a large part of tasks, driving tasks. So, for example, lane changing, driving, accelerating, braking, but the driver is still involved into the driving act. So the driver has sometimes take over the control, but you can drive a couple of minutes fully autonomous. The car is doing everything, is also reacting in critical situations. The market is very promising. As you can see, yeah, we're at level 3 in the European Union. The level 5 should be available in 2030. At the moment, we have only some test drive regions, for example, in Phoenix, Arizona. So the car is not really allowed yet. But you can see here, actually, the trend is very exponential, with expected 65 million of vehicles sold in the next 20 years. And the hotspot is naturally in Asia. And also, yeah, it's not only the autonomous car, which is promising for revenues. So there are new business models around the applications, which can be monetized, such as, this is another research I'm not presenting today, about personalization. So naturally, in this car, we will have a lot of applications, increasing well-being, sports applications, relaxing applications, hedonistic entertainment applications, but also applications that will personalize our life and do recommendations, the right product, the right moment, or the right service, the right moment, for example, a restaurant or a supermarket, or whatever. So there's a big market also for the applications which are linked to autonomous vehicles or autonomous technologies in the large sense, because you can apply that also to smart homes. But users are still reluctant. As you can see, only let's say 1/4 of the users have intentions to buy or to use them. You can see Alexa is reality. Only 20% trust them because they think that Alexa is spying them. And we have still users who like driving, all these activities which are related to driving. 96% would still like to have a steering wheel to drive because they enjoy driving. And you see a large part also of customers, they have are reluctant because of loss of control. You have to abandon the control of a technology to an NI. Therefore, you lose freedom. So people are reluctant to give the decision-making to an NI. And above all, the implications that the AI can harm them, can kill them, or injure them. And also, these technologies are collecting a lot of data. That is why the privacy concerns are also very high and the main barrier of adoption. So before starting the study, we started a couple of years ago with a bibliometric analysis, which could be interesting for you too. And for your information, I'm looking in the bracket. I have a YouTube chain where you can have a look how to do this kind of literature research, systematic literature research, to narrow the topic and to find the main topics, promising topics, which can offer a contribution in your research. And so we start to do that, and we did it with Business Source Ultimate, which you have actually at the BSI, by using well-selected keywords. So for example, marketing, consumer behavior, artificial intelligence, intelligent systems, smart systems. And we found more than 2,000 articles between 1987 and 2021. But we cannot read them all. So that is why we narrowed down the selection to only A+, A and B journals, according to the French FNAGE ranking, which brought us to something like 160 articles until 2021. And you can see the topic about AI in marketing increased exponentially only in 2019. So you can see here that in marketing, but I think in all disciplines it's very similar. And you can see here, now it's really, everybody's talking. And with the emergence of ChatGPT, a lot of researchers have gone now to it. But you can see it started very late. I've started here in 2015. I've not published, and my publications came out something like 2019. But it's a very promising domain, and we went even beyond that. And so we clustered the topics, and we found 7 relevant topics. A technical topic about how to improve AI machine learning techniques, and with deep learning recommender systems, which is more engineering orientated. You can see one topic I'm also working on service robots, personalization, anthropomorphism. So should they be similar to us, the robots? We have another one about ethical issues and privacy concerns. Another research cluster about consumer behavior, loyalty, and how customer relationship management can be enhanced. We have about big data management, how this data should be used. We have about automation and chatbots, social media, so communication enhancement through AI, and the last one about business models and e-commerce. We went further in our analysis by analyzing only articles about emotional AI. And you can see here some promising topics is about emotional AI, so really human-like robot technology acceptance adoption models. You can see here the emerging topics and relevant topics. Also personalization and AI, how the personalization can be improved. You can see here one about service robots, anthropomorphism, because there's a discussion, should they be similar or not to us? And all these ethical issues, facial recognition, privacy, and so on. And there are other topics which are also relevant, but these are the main topics which came out in our research. And we actually focused in our research on 2 domains, the design of and user experience and personalization of these technologies, and adoption and ethical aspects. And that is why we have, in the large sense, 2 research questions about the factors that influence technology adoption. This is what I will present today with the smart cars. And the second step, another research we are doing is about how these technologies influence then personalization, how personalization influences well-being and subsequently usage. So the benefits which are associated. So this is what you can do also in your DBA. That's the methodology. By analyzing systematically the literature, you can do this kind of research in order to narrow down your research, because actually we have the possibility with Business Source Ultimate to export the keywords of every article, and then you can use a very easy software tool. It's called WOSviewer, which will help you to present graphically the relevant topics. You can even go further with R. R is a very software tool, statistical software tool that has unlimited opportunities. There are algorithms which can then be used to do text mining and to do even more sophisticated research. But that's not the aim of today, but just if you want, I have a video on my YouTube channel where you can I explain how you can use Business Source Ultimate to export this data, to make this literature analysis. And in the German track and the Thailand track, I'm doing this actually in my lectures. So let's look to the real study I would like to present you today. So the adoption factors of AI-driven autonomous vehicles. So we did a literature review, and we found actually very few articles about autonomous vehicles. There are a lot of articles in engineering and informatics journals, but not in management journals, and even less in marketing journals. So that is why I would say it's a little bit like powder snow skiing. We found our powder snow where actually a lot of contributions could be done. That is why we went in this direction, and we actually contributed by theoretical and empirical investigation, because it's not only one study, there are now a lot of different studies. And the question is why customers adopt or not these smart connected technologies, and which are the cognitive, social, and affective factors that influence this technology adoption. So our main contributions are, and that is important also for you, because you have to do a theoretical contribution. So first of all, there are a lot of calls for research and communication for AI technologies. And that's not a surprise. But above all, our contribution is that we use a very well-established model, which is used in information systems research, but also marketing research, to understand why customers are reluctant or not to technologies, which is called the UTAUT 1 and 2, which is quite old now, from 2012. The first one is 2003. But the contributions, this is also what you can do. You use an established model that you enhance with new theories. So, for example, the UTAUT is like a Lego system. You can adopt new theories which fit well to the new environmental factors. For example, perceived risk, or ethical risks, or privacy concerns, which were not relevant 20 years ago when the model was developed, or well-being. Nobody talked about well-being 20 years ago. So that is why we actually enhance this model with service quality models or theories. That is why our contribution is that we enhance this model like in a Lego system by using actually these theories, and we replicated the studies in a lot of different domains. So smart cities, smart home, autonomous cars, service robots, so to see differences, cultural differences, but also to see if the results hold in different sectors. And the managerial contribution, clearly, it helps to managers better understand targeting customers, to better target and to better communicate to the customer, and the relevance of them. So how did we start? Again, we start with a literature review. So first we did a text mining approach with 233,000 reviews in the US from 2014 to 22, where we actually applied a text mining algorithm. And we found only actually negative topics. So we see control, anxiety, fear, vigilance, security. And then we said, okay, we do it a little bit more, let's say, organized. So we asked actually the question, an open question, to 200 respondents in France, where we asked, what is your perception about autonomous vehicles? What are the positive aspects? What are the negative aspects? And again, we used text mining, and we found actually 3 different benefits: performance, ease of use, assistance, security. So three concepts. And yeah, you can see here the words which are associated, which our text mining software clustered to these topics. And we found the risks, so dependence to the technology, privacy issues, loss of control, accidents. And so this gave us a first approach about the concepts we should integrate in our conceptual model. And this is, so we did a kind of hybrid approach because we knew actually the UTI-UT model is very known. And so we knew actually what kind of variables we would like to introduce. But by doing this kind of qualitative exploratory research, we narrowed down the number of variables we introduced into the model. So it gave us a first view, which we then compared with the literature. And then, yeah, we actually used the UTI-UT, where you can see actually performance and effort expectancy, which are crucial in this model that influence intention to use and usage behavior. Actually, social influence came not out in our qualitative research. Neither facilitating conditions, which are actually the technology compatibility. So apparently these variables, which were very important in former technology acceptance, namely the organizational context in the beginning when computers were introduced in firms, these conditions, facilitating conditions, were very important. Apparently, for newer technologies, this is not the case. That is why we decided not to put this in our model, but we actually enhanced our model by other variables. But first of all, why did we choose UTI-UT? Because also for you, recommendation, why you have to justify every step you do in your research, every theory you use in your research. You're doing the literature review, but then you have to take the decision to choose a model. And our decision is based on the fact that this model is very established. It has strong psychometric properties. And so there are a lot of meta-analysis that confirm that this model is very good to use for technology acceptance. It can be easily adapted. That's why I'm talking, it's like a Lego model. So we can construct your conceptual model. You can add some bricks in order to make a coherent model to model cognitive, social, and affective factors. And when in the beginning we started our research, it was not used yet for autonomous vehicles and smart homes. But it is not enough. So we added, actually, to take into account our qualitative literature research, topic modeling, we added some theories to the LEGO model. That is topics or theories about well-being, which is transformative well-being theories, regulatory focus theories, trust theory, perceived risk theories, and privacy calculus theory. And so we added these theories to our model. And this is based actually on the regulatory focus theory, which says that our decisions in our life, in marketing, but also in every life, we have utilitarian targets, but we have also effective objectives. And that's also very relevant for product adoption or technology adoption. So utilitarian around ease of use, performance, security, and protection, and effective targets around hedonism, happiness, and well-being. So that is why we said, okay, we test if these disruptive technologies are actually influenced not only by utilitarian, but also by effective factors. And that brings us to our conceptual model. So we have the basic UTI-UT model with performance expectancy, effort expectancy. So the more the technology increases my performance in the daily life, the higher the intention to use. The easier the technology is to use, or the less it requires effort to learn it, the higher should be my intention to use. We added well-being through transformative consumer research theories. For example, user and gratification theory is one of these theories, which says actually that we use technologies also when they give us well-being. What is well-being? It can be naturally physical, so the health, or that we are in security in the car, and that our physical health is protected. Psychological, this is the risks we perceive. So if the psychological risks decrease by using these technologies, it should actually increase our intention to use. But you can see it's also happiness, pleasure, so hedonistic benefits, which can be given by the car, for example, that you can relax, sleep, or can have hedonism or entertainment within this technology. We have another cognitive factor, which is trust. And so the more we believe that the technology is reliable, credible, without error, the higher should be the intention to use. Another cognitive factors are the privacy concerns. So we are on the risk side. So the more we are concerned that the technology collects data which are used against us by other firms, the lower should be the adoption to use. Or the less we are concerned, the higher should be the adoption to use. And also, this should also negatively impact well-being. So in other words, if the privacy risk increase, well-being should decrease. And finally, the perceived risk of the technology, that it makes errors, or that we lose control, and that might affect our health. This should have a negative impact on well-being and subsequently on intention to use. Here's our conceptual model. This is actually what I present you now in some minutes, but I can assure you it took us a long time before finding this variable. So you see all this qualitative research we did before, but it's summarized here. You see actually the benefits, the cost, and the impact with the mediating variables, well-being, trust, and subsequently the intention to use. I don't talk about, we have a moderating variable, but it was not relevant, so that is why I don't talk today. But again, I open a bracket. If you are interested in this research, feel free to write me. I can send you the articles, because one article is already published in Technovation. This is an article where we tested the model, but only with scenario-based approaches. That is, we showed a video in order to prime the respondents to what is a level 5 car, but it's a scenario. And that's the main limit of most research which is done today, including the research about autonomous vehicles or AI-based technologies, that users do not really experience the technology. And that is why it is published, but we went beyond that in our second paper, which is under revision, where we actually used the innovative methodology. So we had a sample, as it's done in Germany. We have a longitudinal study within subjects. And so we used 131 persons over a long time period, so to experience the technologies. And we had two times. The first study was done before using a level 2 car. We had a cooperation with Mercedes, who gave us the car for 6 months. So this study was done before usage, and then all the users drove this level 2 cars in Stuttgart, in the city, but also on the highway, in order to experience really with braking. So where the car is driving autonomously, because the level 2 car can already autonomously drive, but the driver has to take over the control every 1 to 2 minutes. Here is the but I won't show, I don't have the time, but if you want, I can say it. It was during the COVID time. I'm driving actually without having the steering wheel, and here you can see it's taking over without my intervention. So all the respondents did this drive 45 minutes, and then a couple of times later, we have actually developed a simulator with the University in Stuttgart, virtual reality simulator, where we simulate actually level 5 autonomous driving. And all the drivers then went, you see, it's like a game actually, this car. So they experienced level 5 driving. And then we actually used our measurement scales. We used also some neuromarketing devices, so eye tracking device, in order to see if the customer or the driver is moving a lot of the eyes, which shows actually nervosity. And we measured also the EEG brain streams, which we have not analyzed yet, but it's still something we have to analyze, because you can see here the brain streams also, when losing control, we have already seen that actually the brain streams change in terms of emotion. So we used established scales from UTAUT. I don't come into detail, but again, if you're interested, I have on my YouTube chain these different scales, how they are developed, how they are used. But we measured this before level 2, after level 2 driving, and after level 5 driving. And the results are here very easily. You can see actually, yeah, technology, trust, experience increases most of the indicators. So we lose our anxiety from passing level 3 before after level 3. So it appears easier to use. It appears to increase our performance. Trust increases also. Privacy concerns decrease. Technology security increase. But what is interesting, that well-being at level 5 and also intention to use level 5 decrease. So this means clearly that, okay, we are ready for level 2 or level 3, but fully autonomous cars, we are not really ready to lose the control. There are certainly factors, fear factors, that influence negatively the impact. And yeah, that's what we have still to understand. And we have the simulator. We will continue to work on that. But clearly experience matters. So that's user experience. It's very important. That is why also this is also important in terms of the experience we are doing. By doing, because in our first study where we had only scenarios, this came not out because it's too theoretical. Our research working with scenarios, but in most cases we cannot do it because this device we have is very expensive, and we had actually the funding from the automotive industry, but we had it also from research budgets. So that is why, unless you have this kind of device, you have to do it with scenarios. But in this case, we can clearly see that experience is very interesting. And our contributions are clearly, we confirm the regulatory focus theory. There's a utilitarian path to adoption, and there is a effective path to adoption via well-being. Well-being is a very important variable for technology acceptance, including disruptive technologies, including smart cars, but also smart homes. Well-being is so important. So our model, all the different theories we added to the UTAT model proved to be very relevant. So security theory or perceived risk theory, perceived security, perceived trust, perceived well-being, and privacy calculus. So we add these theories, and they are proved to be very relevant. And in terms of managerial contributions, my main message, or our main message, is not only for technologies, but all over trade well-being. Because which brand is thinking about the well-being of their customers? No brand is caring about our well-being. They're caring about satisfaction, but we know that the Net Promoter Score is not sufficient to explain loyalty. So brands that create well-being, and we come back to technology acceptance, it's very important to focus, to position the brand around well-being. And next to that, to increase well-being, we need to create trust, we need to increase security, we need to create hedonism, and we need to decrease psychological fears. And anthropomorphism, this is not what we test in this study, but in another study which is ongoing with another PhD student. Anthropomorphism, the voice, increases trust and increase well-being. So what next? We are actually continuing with the simulator. We're testing actually because there are a lot of ethical issues. So perhaps you have heard already about the moral machine at the MIT, who should be killed or injured in case of accidents. And so this is only done with scenarios. And so our aim is, not a PhD student working on that at the moment. We just published our first results at the Academy of Marketing Science conference last week in the US. So we actually test these moral dilemmas. It's very complicated. Who should be injured or killed? The passengers, the driver, or the pedestrians. And so that's something we're working on. A little bit more funny, we're working on personalization on board. As I said, these cars or autonomous technologies will offer a lot of applications. So we work on the impact of personalization in the car. For example, personalization with TripAdvisor to drive you to a restaurant according to your history, purchase history, how drivers are influenced through personalization. And we use new theories. So next to the UTAT, that construal level theory, which is actually the level of abstraction. The theory says that the more you make, or the less you make the technology abstract, and this militates for user experience, the more the adoption of the well-being increases. And assembly theory, it's also very recent theory in marketing and IS system research, the assembly of all these technologies, IoT, AI, and other devices, is also something which is very important to get studied. And a last word, I finish with that. Yeah, we will continue because we just get a budget from Lidl in Germany, which has a foundation which finance us. And I'm very proud about that because we will construct a smart home, a really experimental smart home, because my conviction is that we really need to do this kind of studies in real environments. And so a real smart home with devices where we will put through make live test persons to experience on the long term longitudinal study how they react to this automation and devices. And we pop up our simulator because our project is called Trust into Smart Technologies. So we investigate mobility, smart mobility, but also smart living with these two laboratory experiments in a smart home and also in a smart. That is what we'll test. And this will turn around these different topics, well-being, user experience, moral dilemmas for the cars, and how to improve the experience in these devices. I stop here just to finish. If you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, you have my address. If you want to have some articles, you have my email address, but I think you can find me also on the website of the BSI, and I would be happy to share my research with you. And on the LinkedIn, I always very often publish small videos because the studies are often done with my master's students and they do a short pitch about the study. So if you're interested, you just look on my link. I stop here. So thank you very much for your attention, and I would be happy to answer your question if you have some more comments about this research. Are there some comments?
You've got a comment from Barbara in the chat. You've got a question.
Barbara, would you think these findings can be valued in adjacent? Robert, yeah, clearly. I've not said that, but I'm just done studies about service robots. So we compared home robots with restaurant service robots. And clearly you can imagine that, yeah, these robots, and we found actually we use the same models, the same variables. And so it's just under revision, just submitted to Journal of Business Research and Technological Forecasting, Social Change. They have some special issues. And one of the issues is, yeah, also how to use this in healthcare. So absolutely, yes, because actually what is important, yeah, well-being, even more than in other sectors, than ease of use and yeah, trust into the technology fear. And then I think I finished with the assembly theory. It's from Hoffman and Novak. You can find it in Google. This is a very promising theory, how to correspond these technologies with humans and the human machine interaction. And yeah, clearly to come to your question, in the healthcare or also in the home care, because you can imagine that this also works in smart home instead of having homes for elderly where they live together. You can imagine in a smart home, a person lives alone. And actually, when the person falls down, automatic and SOS call is sent to the medical team, which sends you medicine to take care of. That's, by the way, also what is already happening in smart cars. When the driver is losing conscience, the car is driving on the right side and is calling a medical team to get support. So clearly, yes, it makes sense. And I have another study about, you probably know Neuralink. This is the last invention of Elon Musk with neural implants in the brain. And actually, there are also some interesting findings in this study, which apply similar concepts. Other questions? Let's just look to the. So this research about the literature, systematic and finding the clusters of past discussions to me, whether my question in a hot or wide area. Yeah. So clearly, yeah, let's go back or kit the marketing domain or technology domain. I really believe that, the first part, of this presentation can help you to do your literature review. I don't know in which year you are, without expecting the systematic thing we did, because, okay, we are professional researchers, but I think it can make sense. And I'm actually in charge of a DBA in Thailand, and I explain this method to the DBA students there, and they try to apply it a little bit perhaps less intensively. But I think it's a good mean, because you can export the data from Business Source Ultimate or Scopus or any other scientific database, the keywords, and then you can actually cluster. And that's a very easy tool called WOS Viewer. And this is actually the tool you see here. I come back, will perhaps reshare my presentation. If you look at, not this, here. If you look at this, this is done with WOS View. So it's very easy. So it clusters, it's only working on keywords. So you need to learn a little bit how it works, but it's very easy. And it can give you actually a vision about the main topics which are relevant. And then if you go further, if you learn a little bit more, you can also use the other algorithms, which here, the size of the bubble shows you also the relevance. For example, here you can see the emerging niche themes, which are really relevant to work because few research is done. Here are the basic themes where already people have worked a lot, privacy issues, also anthropomorphism. But here this learns us actually, you see personalization and AI is a very relevant, emotional AI is a very relevant, but few investigated topic. So that is why, to come back to your comment, I think it makes sense to learn more about that without going into detail, which I did. But I think it can help you to narrow down the literature review. Also, one recommendation I would give you is really to narrow down, only focus first on A+, A and B journals, because if not, you would have too much literature. But I think with A, B, and A and B journals, you have actually most what you have to read for your literature review. And then, if you're on a new disruptive topic, you can even do what we do, and I think it's enough for a DBA. You can actually work with qualitative research and do here to make come out the main concepts of the research domain. As I said, we just opened asked one open question. What do you think about the technology? And then by doing this kind of topic modeling, you can find out actually the relevant concepts. I have actually at the moment also DBA supervision with a German candidate. He's actually, we know actually very, but he's applying an existing modeling customer relationship management to new domain, high value service added domain. And he's doing actually, it would not make sense to ask, and we have not a big sample, to make a quantitative research. That is why we see if the existing concepts of customer relationship management apply well to this high value added sector. And that is why he's doing actually this qualitative research, and then he will apply some text mining algorithms to make come out the relevant concepts can also be found in his research domain. Other questions? Also, again, what I would like to say is also, okay, our first study is done with scenarios. I don't know if you really understand what it is. So scenario-based methodology is when you actually either describe, because we're talking about disruptive technologies which are not on the market. So that is why they don't exist. They cannot be experienced. And so that is why for the smart home, for example, the study I published about smart homes, we used not a verbal description, but a video description. So we showed a smart home, or here in this case, a smart car in application. For the service robot study, we did it the same. So we actually used videos about restaurant robots and home robots in order to show the customers to make it less abstract. But ideally, and in this second autonomous car study, we actually used the simulator and the real car in order to make really customers experience. And that is why that's one of the main, the most important methodological contribution, which is really rare. So to my best knowledge, there are very few, or perhaps even no study, which really test autonomous cars in these simulator studies. So it's really new. And that is why we're also very proud about that, because it gives really real priming, a real experience of this driving experience. In September, I'm doing a little bit promotion. I have a thesis, DBA thesis, which will be defended by one of the students in Thailand. He did the study, kind of similar study in smart home context in Bangkok. And we tested the similar models, technology acceptance model with real users in the smart home context in Thailand. So we will defend in September. So if you're interested in, you're welcome to assist to his defense. Other questions or comments? No, so I think we have achieved the time. So in that case, if you want, I can stay some minutes if you have some other questions. But big thank to you, because it's Saturday. It's Saturday afternoon in Toulouse. It's very beautiful weather, so you probably also have nice weather. So I appreciate that they took the time to listen to my presentation. Again, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to come back to me. Also, if you want to have access to my YouTube channel, do not hesitate to write me. It's free. And yeah, anyway, you know my name, you have my contact details. So I'm ready to answer your questions if you have some. Thanks a lot, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
With pleasure.
Very impressive. Thank you.